Hey everyone, welcome back. I'm still Lori MacVittie, Distinguished Engineer and Chief Evangelist for F5, and I managed to wrangle once again Kunal. Kunal, you want to introduce yourself again?
Hey, Laurie, I'm excited to be here with you. I'm our Chief Innovation Officer, and pumped to have this continued dialogue with you about the application delivery top 10, a topic that is near and dear to both of our hearts. And we get excited thinking and talking about applications and application delivery.
Yeah, I think we could talk about it all day, but we only have limited time, so we'll kind of focus in. Like last time, we were talking about observability and the ability to see what's going on in traffic, right, from the network all the way, well, from layer 2 to layer 7, right, the whole network.
Mhm.
And so one of the items on our top 10 list is the need for application delivery to support, and this is like all very haughty language, bespoke application requirements, which, could mean a million things, but usually means I need to fix my app, or my application is kind of unique, or I need to do
Yes.
this thing. And so, uh, how does application delivery do that, right? Why is this so important?
So I know this one is a really important one for you, and I'm going to turn the table. So for those who kind of watched last time, Lori was asking me questions. I'm
Oh,
going to flip the script this time and ask her questions. And so, Lori, when we hear this very elevated language about bespoke applications, are we basically saying that every application is a snowflake?
mm. I don't, not every application is a snowflake, but there are a lot of applications that are snowflakes or have unique needs. Um, and sometimes it's just the rest of the architecture has unique needs. Like the idea that you need to tell something that I was forwarded for this
Mhm.
client, right? Initially, that was something that had to be customized. We had to insert it. It wasn't
Okay.
by default, right? It's something that over the years we've actually included, but the ability to go ahead and insert those kind of things, or remove headers, or remove payloads, right? To remove malicious content, to basically manipulate a payload and the entire, right, package, really, in real time, using programmability, right? Customization is absolutely critical to application delivery, because you never know what you're going to run into.
Do you remember you did this to yourself by calling up and calling out forwarded for? Do you remember before the standard of like X forwarded for? And I think that became the standard, the X
Mhm.
hyphen forwarded for. But do you remember like so many? Oftentimes we'd like work with or work in organizations and across multiple applications and environments where it was always different. Like one technology or one application was looking for a header with a particular like with a particular name, like X hyphen forwarded hyphen for. Some would just be forwarded for whatever it might have been. Do you remember that era? I mean, it felt more Wild Westy back then in terms of like everybody got to do whatever they wanted. You know?
Yeah, it was, right. It was a need that somebody fulfilled by being able to, right, programmatically change the behavior of the proxy. And everyone did it until finally people went, "Oh, come on, right? We standardize? Can we all do it the same way?" And somebody went, "Yes." And then the next thing you know, we have a standard. But there's always something like that, right? There's always another header that somebody needs or wants to strip out. There's always something that needs to be fixed, right? Even at the protocol level. So different app servers used to have different quirks, right? Session IDs. How do we do, SSL persistence, right? It was programmatically with session IDs. Shove this in here quick. Let me look at it. All of these kinds of things. So it's very important, as we're, trying to deliver new and different types of applications, that we're able to do those kind of things, because no one vendor is ever going to be able to
Right.
support the entire list of possible things that they don't know about, right, to begin with.
And maybe again, if we kind of think about the genesis of all of this, you're absolutely right. And it's not like every application is a snowflake, but every application is designed to perform a unique set of tasks, right? At the base layer of computation, it's input output, IO. And the interesting thing is, if you just kind of remove for a second how the application was developed or the programming languages or the runtimes that went into that application itself, but you kind of take a step back, whenever we've needed to augment the behavior of an application, or we've needed an application to fit into a certain scenario, like maybe this application has to become before this application in a sequence of flows, therefore it needs to change its behavior or augment its behavior. Realistically, you've only had two ways to do that. And the first way, and for those who are kind of like systems level thinkers or first principles thinkers, it would be, well, let's go and find that application team, or let's go and find that development organization who built that application and just go get them to change the behavior of that application. That works until it doesn't. I mean, like, what happens when you've got this giant monolith? What happens when that team who built it isn't there anymore? What happens when, like, you need to change something very quickly and adapt very, very quickly? And then you have the other side of it, which is, what if you could apply programmability at the network layer? And I think one of the key things that we have seen, and what became a really important priority for organizations, was programmability at the network, was the ability, whether it was through a proxy or some other type of technology, was the desire and the requirement to fundamentally alter the behavior of these applications, of these APIs, but through programming the proxy. And I think it's really important to just understand that base set of requirements. And I'd love to hear from you, Lori, because you've obviously been through this, you've seen the evolution of the industry in terms of programmability. Where are we today, and what do you think organizations are looking for?
Oh, well, I think it's come a long way, although, right, there's been a move in a lot of application delivery and even the security to really just make it very simple so that anyone can consume those services, right? So anybody, this mom and pop shops can just, click and get some kind of security or delivery. And that's great because they need that. But in order to make it that simple, you have to eliminate the ability to go mucking about in there, because you know what happens. Somebody clicks the wrong button, the VCR isn't
Oh,
programmed anymore. It's chaos, right? So there's a lot of need to have that kind of programmability yet, and be able to do that, because we're seeing things like AI. We don't even know. We don't even know what is going to be needed. Is our different inferencing servers going to need different things? Are we going to, what's going to happen? We don't know. So programmability is something that, needs to be considered upfront for application delivery. And then also, right, as we're moving forward, modernize to make it easier to fit into that whole like multi-cloud hybrid crazy world that we're living in.
you said something that, like, we don't know, and you're absolutely right. I think it's early innings, and if you think about application delivery and you think about programmability and kind of like the cusp of what we're on today, what's fascinating is you can imagine a world where you've got application delivery for bespoke language models, or for language models of all shapes and sizes, and you could do contextual things like route to this model or route to that model. You could see all sorts of behaviors. At the same time, you could also imagine AI having a profound effect on programmability, where, to your point, you talked about the mom and pop example. The mom and pop can easily spin up a WordPress site. They can easily spin up a service or a technology to help them from a programmability perspective. But instead of having to be experts in syntax and semantics like they have to be today, being able to have, through natural language, to be able to express and say, well, if someone comes from this country, if someone comes into this specific page wanting to perform this specific action, let's redirect them or send them somewhere else, or let's take some sort of other behavioral approach. But it's kind of interesting because the world is definitely evolving very, very fast, and I'm also super pumped that this thing, this specific topic, forget the haughty languages you were describing at the beginning. But what I'm excited about, yeah, I know we'll do this. But what I am excited about is that we get to finally understand and really express the fact that programmability is important to support the broad set and the diverse set of application and API services that are being deployed.
Yes, absolutely. And I'd love to keep talking about it because, yes, this is like one of my favorite topics is that marriage between, right, development and the network and how it all fits together. It's so awesome and it's powerful and it's a very important part of delivery. But I see we're way past our time, so we'll have to come back and talk about a different topic next time. But we'll come back to programmability at some point. I am certain.
Awesome.
Awesome. Excellent. All right. Well, thanks everybody.